All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on? Here we go. It's November 16th. We're almost to Thanksgiving. And, well, this is the podcast. It's not a podcast. It's more like episodes. I don't really consider this like podcast. I guess maybe format, but yeah, as far as that, not a lot with the podcast. I don't want to call this a podcast cuz that's not really what it is. But I appreciate everyone that's stopping by, whether you're here live or if you're watching this back on the replay. If you're watching back on the replay, welcome. Make sure you drop the like. Helps the episode do better. Gets more rewatchability. Today we are going to start out with Keith, whatever you want to call it. The big collaboration. And it seems to be a lot of confusion there, right? A lot of confusion with what the hell is going on. We got Ray in the building. Ray Paz, what's going on? Most of the Kith figures were not my thing colorways-wise. The standout was the Jada Ryu. Really? Okay. The thing is, I don't know that the whole Kith situation was a joke. No. Come on now. Kith situation was beautiful. The thing is I don't feel like... I think it was a mixture and a bad car crash between two communities, right? Because you got the action figure community that's mad about everything 24/7. Prices, what things are, what they aren't. I mean, the action figure community might be one of the most miserable communities that are just never satisfied no matter what's going to happen. Prices aren't going to get cheaper. They always seem like they should be cheaper, but they just never are. And then there's a lot of hypocrisy, right? A lot of hypocrisy, because I saw so many people sit there and say, $45? What are they, nuts? But then I saw those same people say, I didn't even get the opportunity to buy them. So wait, the price was wrong, but here everybody still trying to buy them. Come on now. What are we doing? I'm tired of the community just complaining to complain. You can't sit there and say how expensive they are and then say you took the L when trying to buy them. That's not how that works. It almost seems two-faced. Yo, Wu-Tang Batman, what's going on? Those Kith figures are very meh. Yeah, it didn't stop anybody from trying to get them, though, am I right? I tried to get them, I'm not going to lie. But I never said they were meh. I knew what Kith was. I just think there's a lack of awareness in like trying to figure out what things are, right? Because people don't know what Kith is. You come into our community and you say, well, what's Kith? Well, Kith is a very high luxurious clothing brand that people are just like, from our communities, like, well, it's just a $30 figure. Yeah, but by adding the Kith logo is very similar to like adding a Louis Vuitton logo to the action figures. I have to say Louis Vuitton because that resonates. I feel like everybody knows what Louis Vuitton is. If these were Louis Vuitton collaboration, then maybe that makes a little bit more sense though, right? I just kind of reject more hypebeast culture and action figure collecting. It's already hard enough without the kind of exclusivity. And a completely different crowd was after these, the figure collectors. Well, that's what I'm saying though, right? So people have no problem if it's a Comic-Con exclusive. That makes sense. But this collaboration here was for two different types of crowds. The Kith crowd, which collects pretty much anything with the Kith branding on it. And then you have the action figure crowd that just expects everything to be super cheap and back to its retail price, which never happens. But hey, that's what they wish for. Kith has these dudes dressing like single dads at Halo 2 midnight launch. It was dumb, and they sold out on shit before anyone got in there, just like what happened this time around. You're right, lots of people wanted them, but for me, they didn't do anything. I liked the Wolverine. I do like that. See, the thing is, I really like this Wolverine. I do. I've said it all year that I think that this is probably going to be in a lot of people's top 10 figures of the year. Probably closer to the top 5. I like the brown suit. I could understand it. But I think people just couldn't wrap their heads around the Kith thing. And guys, you got to get off the word Kith. You just have to understand that it's a luxury brand. Very similar, not quite in the same realm as Louis Vuitton, but it's up there, right? So Kith, if you don't know what Supreme is or like any of these hypebeast brands, it's expensive. And people don't pay because the figure is worth that. They pay because it says Kith on it. And that's what makes it expensive. So for all the people that were sitting there saying, oh, this is crazy, right? The price? Well, it's because this is truly meant to be a collectible. This is not for your standard. This is not for the casual. This is not for someone that's just trying to get a play or two. This is a collectible. When it hits the word Kith on it, it then becomes a collectible more than just your standard action figure. So it's got that premium brand on it. This is not meant to be, let's double up. It's supposed to be like a collectible, stay in box kind of thing. That's what it's supposed to be. So, and I think people were more fixated on like, oh, these are just standard figures. Well, yeah, but the minute it says anything Kith on it, it adds $30, $50, something like that. I also have Conspiracy. I believe they are the ones that are selling those figures on eBay for those high prices on eBay. I don't know that many people wanted these figures just for their collections. I feel like most people were trying to flip these because there was a lot of profit to be made. The thing is even the hypebeast culture is like that. So even people that collect Kith, they'll buy the new stuff that comes out just to flip it. Which is fine. I mean, it's fair game. Everyone's trying to... I mean, not everyone, but I feel like a lot of people do that. That Wolvie is nice to look at, but I hate the elbows. Should be double elbows. I don't give a crap what anyone says. I mean, Ray, who cares what it looks like depending on what it does? I mean, how much more range would it have gotten with double elbows? No one actually knows. And if it looks uglier... I think the range, it gets past 90. I don't know what else more you want. For the exaggeration of the arms that they had to portray with the Wolverine, I don't know. I mean, yeah, sure, double joint, but I don't know how much, it goes past 90. What else, how much, I don't know what you're trying to get here. What kind of pose are you doing where you needed, like, that much farther past 90? But to each their own. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't know what else you were trying to really get out of them. If you don't know what Kith is, you won't get it. Right. And that's about 95% of the content creators that I saw when they said, what's a Kith? I understand what the Kith is luxurious. The action figure community just rejected it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they rejected it, though. Because it sounds like most people went for these figures, but just didn't get them. So I don't think anybody actually rejected them. They just do the same thing that they always do. They complain about the price and how it's outrageous, but then at the end of the day, they still buy it. So it's like, I don't know what it is. What is that? Hypocrisy, I guess? Because that's all our community does is complain about what it is, but then you see they still buy it. So I don't know what that is. A lost community, maybe? Trying to get the SHF 1 that's going to kill it. I don't know that there's enough exaggeration on that. I'm a little disappointed with the SHF version just because it doesn't really look like the game. Where's the exaggerated arms? Like, where's the exaggeration? Like, I feel like the Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine doesn't really look like a Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine. I don't feel like they really... Because you look at the game, right? And we're going to shut this down just for a second. Every community is like that. Star Wars, comic books. Oh, I know. But I can't speak on the other communities because I'm in the action figure one. I can't speak on the other communities because, well, I just can't. We're going to hop in real quick. I want to show you guys something. We're going to take a journey. Hold on. Where's one more here? Ah, okay. So display capture. I really just need to make this a scene. That would be so much better. I'm going to do that next time around. But look at here. look how exaggerated his arms are. Look at the fins. Like, when you look at Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine, he's a big-ass dude. Like, that looks great, whatever the hell that is. I'm sure that's a custom, but when I look at his game, he's a thick little dude, right? But then you look at the SHF, it just looks like a normal Wolverine. To me, I don't feel like his arms look that exact. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I just wish there was a little bit more exaggeration here, because I feel like that's, I don't see, look at the flare on the Marvel. Look how much higher those go. That's the art. That's the artwork. But this is like kind of just standard. Like, I don't see, to me, that if you said that this one on the left, was X-Men 97, I would not know the difference. I would not know if you said, is this the Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine, or if this is X-Men 97, I would probably say that this is X-Men 97, because it looks literally nothing like the video game at all. At least in my opinion. To each their own, but to me, doesn't look much like the Marvel vs. Capcom. At least in my opinion. That one's going to kill it. And it's fine if you like it. I just don't think it looks very much like the game. And that's the problem. But, hey, if you like it, that's all that matters, right? But, I do think, I mean, at the end of the day, I think at least this gives us a different hope, right? I hope that, the Kith thing didn't work out, right? Didn't work out. A lot of people are upset. They're going for like $100, $150 on eBay. And, you know, if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. I don't think those things, I think it just gives at least a hope that we're going to see a Player 2 Wolverine in a single box. That's all I can really hope for at this point. I complained about the Wolvie elbows, but they actually get almost anything you would need out of them. They're fine. See, that's what I thought. I was like, I don't know what else. Every community is like that. Star Wars comic books, I read that. I saw people laugh at the price more than complain about it. None of the people I follow were after these and expected them to sell out because of the collab regardless. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people really... See, that's where it's just you don't know a lot about Kith. Because most of their collaborations do sell out relatively quickly. And with a property that hits so many different realms of collectors, as far as Marvel vs. Capcom, you got video game people, you got action figure people, and then you got Kith people. So you got three major communities coming together on this one, and I mean, I knew they were going to be an instant sellout, but I was thinking within 5 minutes. I wasn't thinking 30 seconds, but that's what it was. Legends Wolverine looks better than the SH Figuarts. I really like the Wolverine. I think if you could be a customizer, like, here's the thing. I feel like there does need to be a little bit more of a tan on the Marvel Legends. So if you added a brown wash to the arms and the face, and then also to his outfit, and like some black wash to his claws and his gloves and his shoulder pads, you got a really crazy figure. Yo, K-Mac, what up? You didn't get any Kith figures? Neither did I. Yo, Darth, what's going on, dude? I honestly don't think the Kith thing would have gotten so much pushback if they didn't put that logo directly on the figure. Well, that's the whole collaboration. They have to. That's what they paid for. But you notice that at least X-Men or Disney property said, yeah, you're not putting them on the figure. You can put them on the effect pieces, but not on the actual figure. So it was funny that Capcom was willing to bite the bullet to actually get the branding on the figures, but then Marvel said no, not on the figure. On the effect pieces is fine. That's funny. I absolutely was not going to pay those prices. I didn't even care that they sold out. What I'm hoping for is in a year or two, Hasbro will re-release those figures in normal Gamerverse 2-packs without the logo. Forget the 2-packs. I'll take these single figures. I'm not trying to buy a 2-pack because every single 2-pack minus the Venom versus Captain America literally had a figure I could care less if I got. Like the Silver Samurai. I did not care if I got a Silver Samurai or not. And like Thanos and Psylocke. I didn't want I'm of the majority. I just wanted Thanos. I didn't want Psylocke. But I would say probably 8 out of 10 people wanted the Psylocke over the Thanos. So to me, the Psylocke was actually the bad figure, and I wanted the Thanos. But I don't really have any type of background or knowledge with Psylocke, so. And then, what were the other 2 packs? Oh, Omega Red and War Machine. I didn't want any of those guys. I didn't want either or. In fact, those went on deep discount at Walmart. They were like $30 for that 2-pack. So, interesting. Interesting situation. I don't think this is going to be a common thing. Because 1, they like to keep it pretty fresh. And 2, I don't know who else they would collaborate with. And this was not, I want to restate this, or I don't know that I even stated it to begin with. This was not a collaboration with Jada Toys and Marvel Legends. They just both got a loophole to both collaborate with Kith at the same time. Jada Toys and Marvel Legends will not be able to work anything like this where they work together with Marvel vs. Capcom unless there's a middleman like Kith to join them. It's just not going to happen. So, for those that are thinking, hey, let's get a Jada Marvel Legends 2-pack, that's not going to happen. So, there's not going to be any official Marvel vs. Capcom Jada Toys thing that's happening. It really only happened because they found a loophole with joining with this third company that was like the middleman. So, NECA is re-releasing those Loot Crate exclusive Toon TMNT figures, so all bets is off with these. Definitely going to be a version down the line without the ads. Probably. I could see that happening. That's how Hasbro rolls with these, though, 2-packs, whether we like it or not. I mean, not necessarily, because you're seeing 2 single figures right here. And I don't want them to do it. Well, I mean, I understand it, but it's like, ugh. The only one I really what figures do you guys want left from the Marvel vs. Capcom? Are we talking, I guess Cyclops? Is that one? Who else is in the roster that you guys really... Maybe a different Spider-Man? I think a lot of people are counting that Maximum Spider-Man as kind of the Marvel vs. Capcom vs. Spider-Man because it's pretty close. I think the blues are off for sure on that. But, so Spider-Man, Cyclops, who else is in there? The one I really want, and the one I really need some exaggeration and like a really nice head sculpt with, is Sabretooth. Give me a badass Sabretooth. The lack of Sabretooth, the crazy thing is like, Sabretooth to Wolverine is like Venom to Spider-Man, at least in my mind. The fact that we get like 20 different Venoms and we get like one good Sabretooth every like 10 years is insane to me. Why are we not getting more Sabretooths? You weren't able to grab that Ryu? I don't think anybody was. Capcom has a history of slapping ads on their stuff. Street Fighter 5 had them. You get extra credit for wearing ads in game. Oh, that's cool. I mean, that's not cool, but I get it. I want a Sentinel and a Smart Hulk. Okay, a Hulk. Hulk would be cool. A Sentinel. Didn't we just get Sentinels? Or a Sentinel not too long ago? But granted, it was not, it wasn't Marvel vs. Capcom. But I feel like we haven't got that X-Men 97 / Marvel vs. Capcom type Sabretooth. I was not that impressed with the head sculpts on that 2-pack with the Logan and the Sabretooth. Granted, it's the best one that Marvel Legends has put out so far as a Sabretooth figure, but I was not ultimately super impressed with that figure. I thought it lacked a little bit in size. I thought Sabretooth was a little bit bigger than that, like muscular-wise and height. And then also, the head sculpts were good, not great for me. I'd give them a 7 out of 10. I'm really, in my head, I have that X-Men 97 Sabretooth. I want the Mondo Sabretooth that they did in a Marvel Legends form. So, yeah, I would love that Sabretooth if they could do it in the Marvel vs. Capcom where he was over-exaggerated and stuff like that. So, Stoned, what up? Did any of you buy a Kith figure? I don't think anybody, like, got lucky. Maybe some people are trying to buy them on eBay, but they're expensive. They're not cheap by any means. So, but I would love a big Sabretooth. Give me a big one. Closest Marvel vs. Capcom Sabretooth we got was a Marvel Select. Yeah, and that's a great figure, but it's got very limited articulation. Almost statuesque. Yeah, eBay, 150, 200. And that's not because of the figure. It's because of the logo, the branding. So, but that's where we're starting today. I wanted to address the Kith thing. I think it was just a big misunderstanding. Like, on the, like, I just don't think that the average collector for, you know, Marvel Legends action figure side was well familiar with what Kith is. It's a luxury brand, or considered self-proclaimed luxury brand. And I knew that, one, these were going to sell out insanely fast. Two, I knew the price tag. I even said in my video that I expected these to be $40 to $75. Like, $45 seemed relatively cheap. When you look at some of the other stuff that's on Kith's website, I'm pretty sure like a beanie is $70. So the fact that we got action figures for $45, I thought was pretty lucky because they could have been a lot more expensive. No, I didn't get any of the Kith figures. I tried. I definitely tried, but I was unsuccessful. I heard people are giving the new SH Figuarts Wolverine a hard time. I think it looks awesome. Well, we already talked about that. I'll be happy to pull it up again here. Let me just real quick. So real quick, here's the SHF Wolverine. The problem is I don't think it's exaggerated enough. Because you look at the Marvel Legends, it's got the exaggerated cowl. The cowl goes way higher than this one, like, as far as the length. The exaggerated boots goes past the kneecap, where this is right, like, these look normal to me. These look extended. The claws don't look, they look like normal claws. Like, these are super long, like, exaggerated, bended claws. Like, this one doesn't really have the curvature to the claws like this one does. And I just don't think it looks like Marvel. Don't get me wrong, it's nice, but I don't even think the arms look any like, if you were to tell me, and I said this already, if you said this on the left, what Wolverine is this? I'd say the animated series. It just doesn't look over-exaggerated to me. Like, when you look at Wolverine in the video game, he's a thick little dude. Like, he's big, like, he's over-exaggerated. Look how big those arms are. Look how big his cowl is. Look how big the boots are. I don't get that with the figure. I just don't see it. So, I think it's a fine Wolverine figure. I just don't think it looks like the video game at all. I think Marvel Legends really captured the exaggerated arms, the cowl, the boots, all of it. I think SH Figuarts kind of missed the mark on, like, it's a fine Wolverine. It's just not what I thought it was, you know? I didn't think it looked very game-esque. I think it looks good, but yeah, it's just like a normal Wolverine. It doesn't look very video game-like at all. You don't like, see, I think a lot of people like the flat paint. It's very matte, but yeah. Come on, it's miles better than the Legends one. Dude, we're not talking on what, like, I'm not saying that this figure doesn't look, where is it? Did I have it? Oh, I could have swore I had it. Hold on. I had it perfect. Where is it? No. I'm not saying that this figure doesn't look good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it doesn't look like the game at all. It doesn't have an extended cowl. The boots look the same. It just looks like a normal Wolverine. It looks, with this, the way the colors are and the matteness, it looks like an animated series Wolverine. That's what it looks like. It does not look like the Marvel vs. Capcom. It literally looks like it's hopping right off the comic, like, not the comic, the TV show animated series. It kind of looks like a Mondo, to be honest. It looks like Mondo in a small 12-inch scale, where this Wolverine has everything exaggerated. The arms, the boots, the cowl, everything. I just don't see it with the SH. I don't. No, I'm not getting the SH one. I don't really like SH Figuarts. Nash is sold out? Oh, God. It's still cool. I didn't say it wasn't cool. I just said it didn't look like the video game. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for the first Storm Arena Sagat review. Well, it's not going to be me. I'll try and get it as quickly as possible, but you know they're going to send that out to The Amazing or the Migos or something like that. I'll be one of the first 10, or one of the first 5, hopefully. No, the Marvel Legends one is a good figure. I'm not going to say it's not a good figure, but it's not better than the SH Figuarts one. But again, you can't compare the SH Figuarts to the Marvel Legends just because they're the same property. We're literally talking about a $100 figure compared to a $30 figure. That's not fair. That's like saying, hey, look at all my BMW features. It's way better than your Honda Accord. Honda Accord, great car. Love that car. But we're not comparing the same scale here. We're not on the same wavelength. Of course, the BMW is going to have more stuff. It's a $70,000 more car than the other one. Yeah, the stop motion was nice. I only buy Godzilla SH stuff, and that's only because Haya isn't doing the Showa stuff. Dude, all I hear is about Haya and their Godzilla stuff. I'll have to check them out with that. The quality of SH is way better than Legends. Darth, did you not just hear my rant? SH Figuart is $70 more than the Marvel Legends Wolverine. It should be way better. In fact, I'd be a little concerned if it's not way better. You're charging literally $70 more. I would hope it kicks Marvel Legends' ass. I don't even remember the alternate brown Wolverine blue belt. I remember, let me see if I can find it. I know it's on there. And we're going to talk about that. I think, yeah, it's right there in the middle. Can I see it? Yeah, it's that top middle one. Dang it. It's not big enough that I can even show you guys, so. Quality, bro. I only got Jada Ryu. I only just got a Jada Ryu. How did you just get a Jada Ryu? I mean, it's not like the SH Figuarts are actually worth $100. Tamashii just sets that price because they can. It's because you guys pay it. Of course, they'd be cheaper if no one was buying them, but that's not the case, unfortunately. How's the weather on my end? The weather on my end is rainy today, but it's been pretty nice. It's been like in the 60s. No snow or anything yet, so. All right, we're moving on from Kith. Let's move into our next topic. Oh, man. What do I want to talk? What are we talking here? What did I put on the thumbnail? I put Sagat, and I put figures selling out, which I guess kind of go hand in hand. So we'll figure it out one way or another here. Again, shout out to Mr. Lee. I am going to use his his clip today. So, shout out to Mr. Lee. I'll put his link to his Instagram in the comments below. He did get the in hand for Sagat. And it's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I over-exaggerated it maybe a little bit. I mean, I was super excited when I saw the figure, but I think it looks really good. It's looking really good, really good. However, I still have that sour taste in my mouth from all the con exclusive QC issues. I'm still upset about that because Storm has no customer service. So I'm just stuck with these expensive figures that suck. And they don't suck. Like, the figures themselves are fine, but the paint is just sucks. Way better than Jada, and I collect Jada. Bald literally just started shipping in the UK. Oh, Baki literally just started shipping in the UK. We are definitely not getting Sagat this year. Well, I don't even think Baki has started shipping in the US. I told you guys, I said this in the video, that you guys are not going to see Sagat this year unless you plan on buying through a Chinese vendor. And that's either going to be eBay, or that's going to be AliExpress. So pick your poison, right? Because I said that. I said that's one of the worst things about Storm is they chose. I mean, I don't know that any vendor could have got it much quicker, right? But I don't know. They hitched their wagon to a company that doesn't ship particularly quick in Big Bad Toy Store. So it does say, if we go over, right? Let's go over real quick. Let's go to Big Bad. And we type in Storm Arena. It says it's coming out in fourth quarter, but I can't tell you the last time where I saw Big Bad Toy Store accurately predict when a pre-order was going to satisfy. And something to note, because I did put this on the thumbnail, guys, these are selling out so much faster than I think anybody really imagined. And if you don't get them here, then you're going to have to buy them somewhere else on a resale. Because this is the official. When you go to Storm Collectibles website, these never go live where you can buy them directly through Storm. This is the contract that they signed for exclusivity with Storm Arena. The official pre-order for Storm goes through Big Bad Toy Store. And now Nash is sold out. So if you didn't get a Nash, tough shit now. That sucks. Because that's going to be a really cool figure. It's crazy to me that Nash sold out before Sagat. You guys are nuts. I'm telling you guys, you're waiting too long. You cannot wait on these figures. They do not restock. And can I just tell you, the fact that Baki, son of Han, or whatever, not Baki, but Yujiro is still in stock and not sold out just speaks wonders to that figure. Can I just say that? It's undersized. Mine had bad QC paint. The fact that this is still in stock and everything else is selling out says something, right? Because if you look at this on Storm Collectibles, it sold out relatively quick. The bigger one, the Collectibles version. But for some reason, the Arena one's sticking around. And I don't feel like that's a coincidence. That figure's not that great. It comes with no effect piece. It's undersized. Okay, let me get caught up on the chat here. I hope the God Sagat actually looks that good. I mean, that's it. That's the figure in hand. That's the final product. Of course it's going to look that good. I want to see more size comparisons with Jada Balrog. I'm thinking about turning his buck into a custom Mike Hager or Hager. Since the final fight never gets any 1/12 scale love, I'll end up with 4 Sagats. 1 I'm going to buy from the Asia market to get him early, but the 3 other from Yakab. Exactly what I did. Also, it's better to wait for the Alpha Ryu from the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 collection. Jada can't repay Alpha Ryu Black 2. Alpha Ryu is more accurate than using Ultra Street Fighter 2 Ryu for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Interesting. What was the other thing? The Wu-Tang Batman. Yeah, Baki is tiny, right? Dude, the Baki is like a pocket figure. It like literally fits in the palm of your hand. It's insane. I pre-ordered a Collectibles Baki from Big Bad Toy Store, and it came 2 quarters late. Yep. But that was during the midst of like the COVID stuff, so I will give that a break. I feel like the COVID stuff, for the most part, people have like at least, I know it's still a factor, but I still feel like people are adjusting better now. Just use Storm Alpha Ryu if he becomes available again. He's not going to become available again. Guys, I can't say this enough. They do not become available again. That is not Storm's forte. They don't do restocks. They're not Hasbro. They're not Mattel. They're not doing them. They're not doing restocks. And if they do, it'll be like 2 or 3 years later. It's not happening. That's why I keep telling you guys to go pre-order these cheaper ones now from Big Bad Toy Store. Because they do not restock. You'll probably still be able to get Nash when he fully releases. Where? Yeah, from a Chinese vendor. For more expensive. Where are you going to get him, cool guy? What other website is selling Storm Arena? Big Nerdy's not selling them. Nerdzoic's not selling them. Unless they happen to buy a couple from somebody or somewhere, or they bought their own pre-orders. Where are they getting them from? Where? You can't get them. Yujiro is sold out in the UK. Well, it's sitting here in the US. I already own a Storm Ryu, but I'm keeping an eye out for reissues. I want another one. You can wait all you want. The reissues are not coming. I promise you. Yo, JBTM, what up? I wish I would have bought 3 of those Ryus. 1 wasn't enough. BBTS, dude, they are the sell. It's not going to come in stock. Well, maybe it will. Maybe it will. That's true. Cool guy, that's true. I think that there are pre-orders, but then they will get some extra stock when it becomes available, like from pre-orders that canceled and stuff. But I'm telling you, once it sells out, it's Gonzo. Gonzo the Clown. You like a Storm Arena figs pre-order as soon as they are available? That's what I do. Jada, the thing is with Jada, I like, and that's the thing too, I feel like a lot of people feel like, when I started the channel, I was Team Jada. And I still am Team Jada. I love Jada. I collect all their figures. I shouldn't say all of them, because I have skipped out on a couple of the player 2s. But for the most part, I at least have the full roster and then a lot of the player 2s. But the thing is, people are like, you turned your back on Jada. You don't talk about Jada. What am I supposed to say about Jada? They don't have any news. I can't make news for Jada up. We already know we basically already have their entire blueprint for 2026. What am I supposed to say? I can't say anything about Jada because there's no news about Jada other than that Kith thing that happened. So they're like, you just don't even talk about Jada anymore. What am I supposed to say? There's nothing. That Balrog and Akuma have been coming for a year and a half and they're still not here? I mean, what am I supposed to say? Anytime I say anything, if they said anything, I'd be like, well, where are they? Just praising him? I put out video, but what am I supposed to say? What's the video called? Jada Toys, great job. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say to him. The only reason I'm covering Storm as much as I am is because they continuously have newsworthy talking things that are happening. They're always putting out pre-orders. Their new figures are coming in stock. They literally have killed the news cycle for like the last second half of the year. Jada hasn't had a new figure or character drop since May earlier this year. The last new character we got from Jada was Vega, and it came out in May. Everything else has just been a player too. See, Blanca has the ugliest colors in player 2, so I mean, you can keep the Blanca. You can keep the Blanca player 2s. They're all ugly to me. But yeah, I mean, and I don't even think, I think you can get Balrog and Akuma this year if you buy from a Chinese vendor again. So, if any of you guys are into that, you can get Balrog and Akuma this year, but it's going to be through a vendor of higher cost. The thing is, too, is I thought Jada would try and move a little bit quicker. And I know what people say. I always get the same remarks. Jada's moving fine. They're going to complete the roster. What else do you want? Faster. Because you now have a competitor that is stealing some of your customers. Because not everybody is going to buy both figures. A lot of people will, but a lot of people will not. And that's my point. It's like not everybody is a die-hard collector and needs 5 Ryus. They will pick a Ryu and which one they like better, and you will either gain or lose that customer. So yes, when I saw that we had a new person enter the race, the one-man race, I thought it would light a fire under Jada and move things a little bit faster. I think that's what people were hoping for. Because it definitely seems like they've lit a fire under Storm as they announced freaking almost 15 pre-orders for next year. But I just don't feel like I saw the urgency that people wanted to see from Jada once they saw that Storm Arena became announced. That's the thing. I think people were really wanting Jada just to be like, oh yeah? Okay, Storm Arena, challenge accepted. We're going to do this, 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 and this. Where really we just keep getting the same, well, Balrog and Akuma were coming, they're next in the roster, and then it will finish. It's like, I just haven't seen any, but granted, they've already, and that's the thing too, is Jada's really already announced all its plans. So what else could they announce? I mean, granted, they announced Alpha 3, but it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how the situation could have been better for, I think Jada just got really bad luck. Really bad luck, and I don't know how they could have moved fast. I don't know. I don't know. But it does seem like Storm is really pushing the pace. But with that being said, it hasn't really worked out for Storm either because their figures, so far quality-wise, have sucked. And I hate to say that because the figures themselves, like the actual figures, are really nice. But from the first time I got my Storm Arena Ken, it came with 2 of the same hand. So I literally can only keep fists on my first Ken that I own. I have another Ken, but I don't want to open it right at the moment just to get additional hands. So from the very first get-go, I had QC issue where I got 2 of the same hand. Who am I supposed to call about that? No one. They have an email, they never answer it. So that's cool. And then I buy 2 con exclusives, both over $50 a piece, and the paint is literally falling off for the exclusive color. So now, 3 out of the 5 figures we've gotten so far have had QC issues. My Yujiro had paint issues, not to the effect where it was falling off, but it was sloppily put on. Now that's not gonna, I can fix that. At least the paint's not falling off. That's fine. Baki came with no effect piece, and now there's some scaling issues going on with Baki. That whole thing has its own different scaling. And I'm tired of people saying and making that excuse for the Storm Arena stuff. Well, Baki is its own depiction, right? It's its own separate world. It is. So the scaling is different, It's just different. It's a different world. Yeah, but why didn't they do that with Collectibles then? They've been a company for they've been established when they got the Baki license. How come they didn't scale those figures differently in the collectibles line? Huh? Why did they start to do that with Storm? I feel like that wasn't, I don't know. I feel like that wasn't on purpose, is what I feel like. I feel like they messed up. I mean, what is scaling to Storm Collectibles? When they first put out their collectibles line, they were considered 1/12, and they weren't even close. So we know that they've had scaling issues in the past. I feel like they didn't mean to make the Baki figures that small. That's what I feel like. The base figures are nice while the recolors have issues. And yeah, the basic figures do have problems as well. Exactly. Because I've even heard people have trouble with the red Ken paint falling off on Itsuki. So I don't know. I mean, my Ken hasn't had any paint issues on mine, but I don't know. I think Storm, while they're moving fast to try and catch up, I think the quality is just not there yet. And I don't know how much leeway I can actually give them. Because if you're going to claim you're going to go this fast, well, you better stay on the track. Because it doesn't count as a lap time if you cut corners. Because I'm going to set you back a few if my figure sucks. And then who am I supposed to talk to? At least with Jada, there's a phone number, there's an email. I can call Jada literally, and someone from Jada Toys answers, "Hello, this is Jada Toys. How may I help you?" I can talk to a human. With Storm, I randomly get an email from the owner, and he says, "We'll send out the replacement parts." And I say, "Oh, you're sending out replacement parts? What the hell does that mean? I said I had paint issues." I didn't know, what is he going to send me, a bottle of paint? Is that the replacement parts? What is that? Your Ken has black smudges on it? Jesus. Instead of making Yujiro bigger, they made Baki smaller, so... The arena Baki scaling pissed me off. I told you, and that's a reason, and I'm telling you right now, you come over here, look at everything that's sold out. Nash, Ken, this guy, what the hell is this guy's name? Benimaru? Okay, I don't know how to say that name. You guys can correct me. This guy is sold out. Look it. Is there a reason why the Baki line is not selling out? Has the word gotten out that they're smaller in scale? You can't tell me that the property is not as popular as Street Fighter. While that is a fair statement to say, the collectibles of these two characters sold out relatively quickly. Relatively quickly. Like, if you go to Storm Collectibles, like this one right here, this is battle damage, and it's sold out. But how come the pre-order and the in-stock Yujiro have not sold out? Now, I do think Yujiro will eventually sell out, but I thought he would have sold out a lot quicker. Just saying, this Baki pre-order is not sold out. Nash was literally announced months after Baki, and Nash, not even he's a popular character, but if you would have to rank who's the more popular character between Baki and Nash, I feel like Baki would probably win in popularity, and his pre-order sits. So, did word get out that their scaling stinks on that? I don't know. Maybe. I think it was a mistake by the manufacturers on the scaling problem with the Baki figures compared to Street Fighter. I do. But if you talk to anybody that's affiliated with Storm in our community, they said, "Oh, well, that's 1/12 scale." I said, "Aren't they all 1/12 scale? So shouldn't they all be the same?" "No, that's not how that works." "Oh, okay. Whatever. I don't know what the hell that means then." Just like how there was paint problems with con exclusives. Exactly. Good luck for waiting for Rainbow Mika. Last Storm Collectibles Arena announced until 2034. I do think that granted, Storm has not done anything this year, at least in the pre-order realm. They have delivered on everything they said they delivered on. Now, granted, it's not hitting Big Bad Toy Store, but if you wanted Sagat, you can get Sagat this year if you want to. If you really are that big of a fan and want Sagat, then you can get him this year. But if you're waiting on Big Bad Toy Store, then I don't know whose fault that is. Is it Big Bad Toy Store's fault for putting out a wrong prediction on when the pre-order satisfies? Or is it Storm's for not getting them out faster? I don't know. That's where it gets interesting. It's not 1/12. Dude, I can't even argue the 1/12 6-inch stuff because I literally got scolded by someone in the community. If you want to reach out to me on Instagram, I'll tell you who it is. I'm not going to say their name. But I literally got scolded on the different scaling between 1/12 and what 6-inch line is. So I'm not even going to get in that debate because it's insane and everyone's got a different definition of what it is. But yeah, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's 1/12 and that's 6-inch and I'll give you 6-inch. How about that? Just kidding. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways. Personally, I have no feelings towards either IP, but for Baki, his face is ugly and weird as fuck in terms of character design, although muscles and articulations do look cool. The figures themselves are nice, they're just small. They're small. They're great Storm Collectibles figures, but they are small. They're not what I thought they would be. They're not. So, Storm always works slowly. I mean, they've worked faster than Jada this year. And that's fact. Because you look at what Storm has done and you look at what Jada has done as far as new characters. But then it's like, what are we counting, right? At Storm Arena, they've got 2 properties, but then it's like, I can't really count Storm Arena. The only thing I can count with Storm Arena is Street Fighter to Street Fighter, right? Because they got other properties, and it's like, okay, yeah, they have other properties, but so does Jada. So I can't count Storm Arena Baki figures, right? Because Baki is its own separate property. Because if I count Baki figures as far as how many figures Storm Arena produced this year, then I got to count Scooby-Doo. Then I got to count Mega Man. Then I got to count Cyberpunk. Then I got to count Chocula. Even though you know what I mean. The mascots. I know Count Chocula was like years ago. But you know what I mean, right? So I can't count Storm Arena's other properties. Because if I do, then Jada absolutely smokes Storm. But if I count just the Street Fighter. So new characters that we get this year from Street Fighter include Ryu, Ken, Sagat. 3 new figures. What did we get from Jada this year? 3 new figures. We got Sagat, Blanca, Vega. So they're tied there. As far as Player 2's exclusives, what did Jada do this year? They did Fei Long, Blue Guile, Cammy, and then the 2 exclusives from the Comic-Con, which included, what the hell were they? Dhalsim and M. Bison. And there might have been another, did that blue and red M. Bison from Big Bad Toy Store? I think that came out this year. So what? That's a total of 9 figures compared to, I still think Storm sneaks out 1 more exclusive this year at there's another con coming up on Thanksgiving next week that Storm is going to be there, and I think they'll have an exclusive there. I think we see an exclusive announced this week, for another exclusive. But, I mean, they're pretty close. So to say Storm is moving slow, they're pretty close. I think Storm ended up putting out 5, potentially 6 figures from Street Fighter. Well, Jada put out 8. So, and only, of those 8, only 3 of them were new characters. And as far as new characters, they both put out the same. So, there is no more so-and-so put out speed on new characters. The blue and red M. Bison came out last year. Okay, then 8. So, 8 to 6. And we still think, me and Mars definitely think that there's going to be an exclusive at this next con that they're going to come up at. So it could easily end at 7 to 8. But as far as new characters, they tied. So, but here's one thing that someone keeps bringing up, and I can't help but notice myself. When did he wear blue and yellow? You go over here to Google, right? Type in Sagat Alpha 3, and you cannot find blue and yellow other than right here. I'm looking at blue and yellow. The only time I see blue and yellow is when I see Storm Arena. I cannot find in-game sprites of him wearing blue and yellow. I see purple and yellow. I do not see blue. Where's blue? All I see of the game is purple. So it's like, did they get the color of the shorts wrong? They started out with a Sagat that had purple shorts, and then they switched to blue, but I don't see blue in-game anywhere. Everything I see is purple. And I'm sure somebody will say, like, here's one right here where it says Alpha Max. Is that what it is? Because that's not what they're promoting, is Alpha 3 Max. So sure, there he is right there with the blue and yellow, but that's not in-game. That's a sketch. But it's like, they're not promoting Alpha 3 Max. They're promoting Alpha 3. And I do not see anything from Alpha 3 of him wearing blue shorts. I only see purple. I'm going to go back to you guys because I want to see what you're saying. Storm needs to give us a true 112 Terry Bogard and Andy Bogard. Factual. Honestly, I don't know besides the artwork. It's a color variation because I actually played the game, and that is how Player 2 colors. That is his Player 2 colors. I just can't find it. Why can't I find it? The purple is due to the game graphics, but the design... Oh, God. But... The purple is due to the game graphics, but the designer's intention was blue, I think. You think? Well, I was hoping for a little more concrete than I think. Sucks that it is, but that's what Storm chose. But that's not what they chose. They literally had a purple Sagat. What happened? They literally, that was the first pictures we saw, was a purple Sagat. And now they're right here. Those were the first pictures we saw of Sagat. Purple, yellow, right here. Purple, yellow. Andy was darker. Tell me he doesn't look darker skinned here either. Now, granted, this could be lighting, but he does look, even with lighting, he looks a little bit darker tan than this one. Again, you got to take in the lighting, but I'm just saying, I feel like I could adjust my eyes and know what that looks like a darker skin tone, and I kind of like that for him. They had the purple, and then out of nowhere, here came, dude, that is a darker skin tone. That is. You can't convince me that that's not darker than this one. And I know it's lighting, but even with the lighting, I feel like that is darker. That looks darker. And I actually like that better. Damn it. Alright, anyways. You guys can't see anything. I'm an idiot. Excuse me. Here are the figures. Look at. You guys couldn't see anything that whole time? God damn it. Alright, so look at, they had that is darker skin than this one. Why is it showing up blurry? That looks way darker than the one that we're getting. That looks like lighter skin. So take a look at that. How come my videos don't get promoted on Google? This is horseshit. How come all I see is Mars' videos? The Arena Breakdown, courtesy of Mars. I'm Mars. I get all my videos on Google. Hey, look, I'm Mars. There's my video. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Mars. That was a joke. But my videos are on here. There's one. There's one. There's one. I was just giving him crap. But he does look darker. From this one to the other purple, he does look darker. I'm just saying. He does. So, yeah, they literally showed us a purple. And now it's gone. Do you think that after these 11 characters from Storm, will they do more? Because I really want my boy M. Bison. Yeah, I think they're going to pump out a ton. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw 6 more characters from early quarter next year to finish out the year. Because you look at the roster, right? Let me grab something real quick. That's what she said. Wait, what? Do you guys think the skin is darker or no? Starscreamer, what up, man? Am I nuts? And I know lighting. I know people's gonna be like, it's the lighting, bro. It's the lighting. I know the lighting could make it appear darker, but I think like even with light, it just appears to be darker in general. Skin looks great. I didn't ask if it looked great. I asked if it looked darker. But I do agree. It does look great. He looks more tan, is what I'm saying, in the purple than the new one that we're getting. And I can't find that thing. There is no purple and yellow in Alpha. It may look purple, but the intention is to be blue. Well, that's... What does that even mean? The intention was to be blue. I don't care if the intention was to be pink. It looks purple. You can't look at the game and say, oh, well, that was intended to be... What do you mean? The intention was to be purple. Well, it didn't end up that way. I can't literally, like, look at these. I don't care if the intention was poorly executed, as that looks like a bright purple. So we're going off intentions now? Because that doesn't look like nothing. It looks like, look at it. Purple. So what, are they supposed to put a disclaimer that says, I know that the shorts are blue, but that's the intention, folks. I can't work off intentions. I'm literally have to look off the color of my, what I see, and this is all purple. I'm not working off intentions. I'm looking at what actually hit the game. But I get what you're saying. And I can't. Every Tamashi figure is like that. Promo pics have fleshed out skin tone, but then you... Dude, why can I not read? And why do I read like Borat? Every Tamashi figure is like that. Promo pics have flesh... Well, if you type in Storm Arena, your channel and Mars is the first ones that pop up for me. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's what Capcom... See, now if you say it's a Capcom thing, then that makes more sense to me. Capcom wanted it to be blue, but it ended up purple, but... I feel like I am going to do a video on, like, when these figures are supposed to release next year. Because while I think that there is hope and optimism, I feel like it's not realistic. Right? Why am I not finding that roster anywhere? Capcom decides what they can and can't use. It's like when Jada Toys wanted to use the Silver Claws with Vega, but Capcom told them to use gold. I think it was said in an interview. Yeah, I know that was the fact for June, but I just felt like... I don't know. I just felt like Storm didn't have that issue. Or wasn't going to have that issue, but that's probably exactly what happened. And that's maybe the problem that comes with having two companies literally make the same game in the same scale. So it's like, oh, Jada gets the purple shorts. Storm, you can do blue. Uh-oh. That sucks if that's what it is. Bigger question is, why did Storm give Ryu so little? What? The only one set of hands. Do better, Storm. What? Daniel. Bigger question is, why did Storm give Ryu so little? Only one set of hands? They gave him a Hadouken effect, didn't they? I feel like they did. Did they not? What am I missing? Didn't they give him pretty much exactly what Jada gave their Ryu? I don't know why every time I click Big Bag Toy Store, it ends up on that stupid M. Bison, but I'm looking at Ryu. Where's the piece? Tells me what he came with. Because I have the figure sitting right here. He came with an effect piece, a stand, an additional head sculpt, and 2 sets of hands. That's literally what Jada came with. What do we mean? Do better. He came out with just as much as Jada. What are we talking? What does that mean? I'm lost. Purple Short Sagat is most likely going to be some kind of exclusive. I'm down. If it comes out blue, I will still paint it purple in contrast to Jada Sagat. I mean, I would hold off on painting it because I do think we're going to get that purple one eventually. The question really is, will they do 11 more after these characters Street Fighter, or will they move on to a different game? They could move on to a different game, but I feel like they're at a crazy pace right now that why wouldn't they just do another 11 characters? Oh, he wanted another set of hands like Ken? What did Ken come with? 3 sets of hands? I mean, what are we talking? Look at the Baki series. Not only is it underscaled, in my opinion, but it literally didn't even come with anything but additional hands and a head sculpt. No effect piece. No effect piece. Baki series is such a letdown. I want to be done with it, but I can't be because I'm better than that. We don't quit when the going gets rough. We're going to stick it out. Note that they include a stand. Who do you mean? Jada has good reason to use different aspect for Street Fighter 2 because Capcom didn't want Jada to use the true Street Fighter 2 art like the box for reason some of the characters look like a mix of Street Fighter 4 art, which Storm's reason. Okay, yeah. I'd like Arena to take a break from Street Fighter and concentrate on Darkstalkers. That's not gonna sell. That's like telling Marvel Legends, I want you to take a break from X-Men and focus on Eternals. What? Why would you take a break from literally what's selling, making you the most money, to focus on a property while popular is not going to sell as well? If anything, they should take a break from Baki and focus on Darkstalkers. Not Street Fighter. Marvel Legends, please stop making X-Men and focus on not X-Men. I can only think of Spider-Man and X-Men. What other properties did they do? Focus on the Fantastic Four instead of X-Men. What? They're popular, but it's not as popular. They gotta make money. Ken came with 2 extra hands compared to Ryu. Well, not mine. Mine came with 2 of the same hands, so it didn't even work for me like that. I didn't see any comment about the car. Jada should do rival schools if Capcom gave them access. I mean, it sounds like it almost sounds like Jada is steering away from Street Fighter. I want them to stop focusing on X-Men and do better Spider-Man that isn't in the retro card backs. Didn't you literally just get a Maximum Spider-Man that came with all the goods? So you like the box? I feel like the retro card is just the packaging. It's not like they come with anything less than what the box figures come with. Because look at freaking Lizard. Lizard came with a ton of stuff. Came with an extra head sculpt, a beaker, and stuff. Like, I don't feel like the retro card figures come with anything less than the box figures. More Hulk? God. I think we've had enough Hulk after Maximum Hulk. Jesus, could you have screwed that up any worse? My God. Maximum Hulk is such a disgrace. Not only did they do some weird thing, they like tried to copy the soft art, like the soft chest like Storm does, but they did it poorly. And then you did 3 random Hulk head sculpts. And not even good looking ones either. Weird, slick come over. Like, it was just bad. Bad execution on the Hulk Maximum. They could redo that all over again. We need a Tamashii Gamerverse Sentinel. I don't think they're going to make anything like that. Nothing huge. I was going to look at one thing, though. So I did want to talk about, and I am going to put out a video on this, too. But I was going to talk about the scheduling of when these characters are set to release. Because I think it's going to be fast, and I think that this is not the entire 2026. So, we have the characters, we're going to start the year, and then I think but where is Chun-Li? How do we not have a pre-order for Chun-Li yet? They are struggling with the female characters, it would appear. Again. Yeah, they should have used the Juggernaut body. That would have been dope. They need a Hulk wave, and that they've been giving everyone else all this love, and they've been using the same buck for almost a decade. Hey, when you got a good buck, you got a good buck. I don't think the common person knows how much a buck costs. Do you guys have any idea on how much it costs to produce a new buck? Does anyone have any guesses on how much it costs to produce a new sculpt? And how much a single hinge to a double articulated hinge costs? Like just making those small adjustments? It's a lot. Just the smallest things. To go from a single hinge to a double jointed hinge is expensive. They lose that much more profit for every single thing that they add to a sculpt. $5? That might be in... That's the thing, too, is it's not just... Sure, the materials cost maybe, like, somewhere around there, but the actual whole thing, like, to get it fixed and like, it's a lot. I would say an action figure from start to finish, from a blueprint to actually going through all the stages, from like modification and all that stuff, it's about 30 to 50, depending on the figure. 1,000, somewhere in there. Juggernaut is not getting multiple bucks. He literally hasn't had a new buck in almost 10 years. He's not getting multiple bucks. He's got one new buck in a course of almost 10 years. I say almost 10 years because it wasn't quite 10 years. He's not getting multiple bucks. And you got to think it, like Marvel Legends has such a busier schedule than Jada Toys and Storm. Like, Marvel Legends is signed to Disney where they're like, okay, you guys need to produce 40 new figures this year. Do you think they can create 40 new sculpts? No, of course not. That's why they have to use the same ones. And you guys are in contract with our movie line. So while a lot of people aren't big fans of the MCU, they are in contract required to make those figures. It's not like they're like, oh, let's make Eternal figures. Those will sell well. It's in the contract. They have to make them. They have to. To keep the license and to keep the terms and licensing, they have to do it. So it's like, they have to do all this stuff. So it's like when they're like, why are they creating that and this? It's like they have to. They have to create a certain amount of figures every year. And for that, they get only a certain amount of budgeting. So it's like, do we put all our budget into the side characters? So that's the thing too, is they get an allowance basically of how much they get to spend each year, where they still get to see profit, because Hasbro is a publicly owned company and people have stock market and they have to, appear before a board and things like that. So they get a certain amount of money. It costs a certain amount of money to make certain figures with certain joints and paint schemes and things like that. So it's like, do we put a lot of our balance into the Maximum Spider-Man and maybe skimp and put Punisher in a 2-pack with more limited articulation? It's so much deeper than people realize. That I think if they really saw the nuts and bolts of what Hasbro has to do each year to create a profit and keep their stockholders happy, which I feel like there's also this interpretation within the community is like, oh, well, they should keep the fans happy. That's not their concern. It's part of it, but on the totem pole, it's probably closer towards the bottom. They got to keep the people, the owners, the stockholders, their priority number one, not the comic book guy that's like, oh, I wish I had an extra head sculpt. Not that guy. So yeah, it's just different. Marvel Legends sculpts are so bad. They're $25 figures. Or $27. Yeah, I know, Fareed. That's where they have to keep. That's where it's like, oh, they have to use some of the same sculpts, because if they create a new one, that takes away from the budget. Maximum Series Hulk should have been all new. They did it for everybody else except the number 2 character in the entire franchise. They didn't really do that much new with the Deadpool, I feel like. Yeah, it's pinless, but I don't feel like it's that much new of a sculpt. We did go way off topic. Okay, anyways, let's finish this up. So predictions, Sagat. Now, do you guys want predictions on when the figures will be available for you to purchase anywhere? Or do you guys want predictions on when the figures will actually hit Big Bad Toy Store? Because there's a major difference. Deadpool ain't Hulk, though. But yeah, but you said that you wanted all the figures to have brand new sculpts. And Deadpool didn't get a new sculpt. Am I late? Extremely late, Black Void, but we're happy to have you, regardless. You're almost at the end. You came in the 4th act. You want Big Bad? Okay. So if we're talking Big Bad, Sagat probably hits January for Big Bad. I don't think it meets its Q4 deadline. I think it hits late January. And then who's next after that? Is it Dan? Dan should hit in about early March, maybe late February. I'm going to say March. And then Charlie should not be far behind, actually. I think right around April-ish for Charlie. I think he'll only be a couple weeks behind. And then Akuma and Balrog, I think we see them right around, I think we see both of them right around San Diego Comic-Con time. And then I think we see Zangief in Q3. And I think we finish off the year, if not get one more character with the girls at the end of the year. You ordered Akumas, 2 Akumas. I know it'll be extremely popular, like the Evil Ryu. Yeah, but Evil Ryu was a con exclusive, so it was limited in production. Akuma is going to be a mass figure release where they'll always do restock. So that's the difference there. Speaking of Evil Ryu, I have an Evil Ryu that I am putting up. Literally have not even taken it out from the shipper box. It's going up on eBay this week. Keep an eye out for it. Evil Ryu going up for auction this week. Not even out of the shipper. That's how new it is. Still in its box. Looks beautiful. Yeah, it's going up this week on the eBay. I'm selling my extra one. I don't need it. I don't need it. Throwing her up. She's out of here. Whew. I sold my Evil Ryu and Violent Ken for $250. I have both of them. I have Evil Ryu. I have an extra Evil Ryu and an extra Evil Violent Ken. How much? I'm going to put the bid up at $50 and let it go from there with $15 shipping. I'm literally going to put it up starting bid at retail with $15 shipping. Because you guys would not know how expensive shipping is to ship an action figure. It's like 15, 20 bucks. It's nuts. So I'm not paying shipping, but we'll count that into the total cost. But I think that's it. I think we did it. I think that's the stream. Make sure you guys like the stream too. Feel like we need a good amount of likes in here, right? A couple of likes. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think we're going to get a lot of Storm news this week because of that con. Or is Thanksgiving this week? It's not this week. It's next week. Within the next week and a half, we're going to get a lot. Actually, we might get the con exclusives this week from Storm. And then I'm going to keep my eyes out for Sagat. I wouldn't be shocked if Sagat went up on eBay sometime this week. And that, when I say eBay, there's a Chinese vendor that always puts their stuff up on eBay. I'll put a post out when you guys, yeah, I think we will see a con exclusive announced this week for the following week for the con from Storm. And then, yeah, I don't know, man. It's been super dead in the toy world, man. Not a lot of news going out. I think that's probably why the Kith thing was so big, because literally there's been no other news from like Marvel Legends or, I mean, what is left in the Marvel Legends world? The 2-pack from the Punisher game? What else is left? I think the year is pretty much over, right? We got a month and a half left of this year, and that's game. So I think I'm going to put out some videos predicting on like release schedules for both Jada and Storm. I don't think people are going to be particularly happy with the Jada one, unfortunately. I don't think we see alpha figures next year. It just doesn't seem possible for them. Because you're telling me that Jada is going to get out like 4 or 5 player 2s, 6 new characters to finish off the roster for Street Fighter Ultra 2, and then throw in 3 additional characters for alpha? I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't, unfortunately. I'd love to be optimistic, and we can always be optimistic and hope that's the case, but that just doesn't even seem realistic. So, and then Storm, I don't know. They've got a lot to live up with themselves in their own pre-orders. No, I don't think it's, I mean, I'm looking at Stoned. What else am I looking at? There's not been a lot of new Marvel Legend news. A bunch of repaints and a bunch of re-releases for Marvel Legends. McFarlane hasn't had anything really come out. I'm not really looking at a lot of other import stuff. Sure, SHF has put out some, they put out something, but I don't really cover them. 52 Toys is doing Street Fighter, but I don't know. Are you guys interested in 52 Toys? I don't know. So, I mean, where else is the news? What news? Where? You guys like wrestling? I mean, I don't know what else I'm supposed to be covering here. I mean, what new announcements has McFarlane or Marvel Legends put out? Marvel Legends is 4 Horsemen. Oh yeah, I cover 4. Okay, I am never covering 4 Horsemen or the Mythic Legions or anything like that. That's the wrong channel. I'm not saying those are bad. I don't cover G.I. Joe. I don't cover Star Wars. I don't cover any of that. So, my coverage will probably be McFarlane, Marvel Legends, NECA, horror, that is. Any major horror announcements I guess I'll cover, but there's just not a lot. Even out. SHF Gamerverse. Maybe, I guess. I could have done a Wolverine video, but there had already been so many videos put out by the time I got to it that, yeah. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah. It's not in the realm I'm at. No, I'm not collecting the SHF Gamerverse. I don't like them. They don't look good to me. Like, even that Cyclops seems pretty underscaled. Like, pretty small. And then the Wolverine doesn't even look like the Gamerverse Wolverine. It's a great Wolverine. Like, it's just a great Wolverine, but it doesn't look like the Capcom Wolverine that I was looking for. I like the Spider-Man. That's the only thing that I've seen that I've liked. I like the Spider-Man. But then I was seeing something like it wasn't getting released in the US and a bunch of stuff. So it's like, I don't know what's happening with that. Tell me about it. I did a Storm Ryu review and it's failing. When did you do it? And how late did you do it? Because it's like if you were the 50th Ryu Storm Arena video, then you might just be too late to the party. Everyone's already left. Let's see. 2 days ago. Bro, you're way late to the party. That's why. I'll still watch it and give it a like real quick. I'm going to give it a like real quick. But yeah, you're about a month and a half late, my friend. There's no one looking for Ryu videos anymore. That figure's been out for about 2 months, 3 months. Unfortunately, it's just too late to the party. Everyone's come. We already opened presents and ate cake and sang the birthday song. And then you're the uncle that's showing up like, hey, who's ready to party? Well, we already partied. You're late. It's over. I know, JBTM. Hey, I know. That's why I have to do the Asia route. Because if I don't do the Asia route, then that's what happens. And then by the time I get this stuff out, it's old news. That's the problem, man. It's like, it's hard. If you're not spending the money to really get these figures as fast as possible, then it's hard to grow your channel and hard to get the views. That's the problem. I am here because Storm and Ryu and Ken really impressed me. I think they impressed everyone. That's why they're sold out already. And I am shocked. Again, I can't say this enough. Guys, if you have not pre-ordered this Sagat, I'm telling you, it's going to blow Ken and Ryu out of the water. So, I'm just telling you now, if you don't have a pre-order, go do it. Maybe, Daniel. Maybe. But guys, that is going to be the live stream. I appreciate everyone coming out. Keep an eye out for something. I'm going to think of something. I think I'm going to do schedule releasing for 2026 Jada and Storm predictions. Each their own video. And then Storm should be having some announcements coming out. They've got a big con that they're going to. Not this current coming week, but Thanksgiving week. They have a big expo that they're going to, which they should have an exclusive at. So, when will it start being released in China? It should be, if not this week, Thanksgiving week, to be honest with you. So, guys, I appreciate everyone coming out. I love you as always. If you haven't yet, like the stream, and I'll see you on the next one. Richie Figs. Later. 9, 8,